I'll quickly move into the case discussion, sir. Not much of a theory in this. It is mainly posterolateral tibial plateau fractures. Here is a 36 years old gentleman who had a tibial plateau fracture. No other injuries. This is a bicondylar tibial plateau fracture with intraarticular depression more in the lateral side, and there is a small fragment which got ejected out and appears to be located into the in the suprapatellar pouch just above the joint line. And we can see in the axial images also the fragment appears to be having the articular cartilage. And these are the other CT images which shows there is a comminution with bicondylar fracture. And these are the 3D CT images. So here the patient has both medial and lateral tibial plateau fracture. And if we see the first film of the 3D film, the fragment which got ejected out appears to be coming from more near to the fibula posteriorly, and there is a comminution, and there is an intraarticular depression just anterior to that. So here what steps we need to take is, first we need to look at the swelling to come down completely. We need to wait for at least a period of 5 days to 1 week time. Here we have waited for at least 5 days to 1 week time, and then proceeded for fixation. Here already the approaches have been described previously: posterolateral approach without osteotomy and with osteotomy. So I'll skip this. Here what I have done is I have taken initially medial tibial plateau fixation was done using a small biological incision. A medial plating was completed, and then patient is turned onto the lateral side. This is a curved incision made over the fibular centered over the fibular head with a curved incision. Here the incision was chosen to access both the ejected fragment which was lying in the suprapatellar pouch, and also to access to the both anterior to the fibular head and posterior to the fibular head, the condyle portion. And this is the incision where the common peroneal nerve is retracted anteriorly, so that we can see the posterolateral condylar region. There is a large defect which can be seen near to the fibular head, and the incision was extended, and then anterior to the Gerdy's tubercle we made an incision and then retracted the fragment which has articular cartilage, and this was placed into the defect where it was located. This is how this is the sequence of fixation. Initially medial plating was done, and followed by the posterior condyle, posterolateral condyle fixation. The depressed fragment was elevated, and then the ejected fragment was put back into the correct position, and posterior to anterior 4 mm cancellous screws were placed. And then since the incision, through the same incision anterior to the fibular head over the Gerdy's tubercle, we slided the plate and then completed the fixation. This is a raft kind of screws. This is both AP and lateral view. This is immediate post-op X-ray. There is no varus or valgus alignment, and articular margin looks fairly in good position. And this is 3 months post-op X-ray. This is 5 months. And he started on weight bearing after 3 months time, full weight bearing, and started knee movements soon after the fixation. And he has achieved up to 90 degrees so far, no extensor lag, and he is able to walk independently now without any instability and pain. Here is one more lady, 36 years old lady, who had tibial plateau fracture, mainly on the lateral side, with a combination along with fibular head fracture as well. Once the swelling has subsided, we took up for surgery. These are the CT images which shows that there is a intraarticular segmental depression. There are 2 fragments which were depressed in the lateral side. These are the axial images which shows that the fragments are projected beyond the fibular head region, and comminution is also seen. And also there is an along with posterolateral fracture. There is a PCL avulsion also, which was displaced. So, and these are the 3D CT images where we can see that fibular head fracture is there, lateral tibial plateau fracture, along with PCL avulsion, and there is an intra-articular segmental depression. One fragment is trapped between the fibula and the tibia. The other fragment is depressed just above this posterior most cortex. And here, as we thought, we chose modified Frosch approach, Postero Lateral extensile approach, and this is the wound picture where we can see that the common parallel now is retracted laterally. The muscles are avulsed from the fibular head along with intra-articular depression. So we can see that the depression is quite more, and there is a cortex lying between the tibia and fibula. So first, initially, the deeper intra-articular depression fragment was elevated and then secured with K-wires, and followed by we used a joystick maneuver where, because the vessel is lying quite close and the neurovascular bundle is, common parallel now also is quite close. So without during manipulation, we need to avoid the injury to this. So we used a joystick maneuver where we passed the K-wire into the trapped fragment and then levered it out and then pulled it up to the length and then secured with the K-wires initially temporarily, and then 4 mm cancellous screws were passed. So, and then the PCL avulsion was fixed with using a 4 mm cancellous screw. It was into multiple fragments. So the larger segment was secured with the 4 mm cancellous screw. And we could notice that on table, the fibular head was comminuted, and then ligamentous complex was attached to that avulsed fragment. So I secured with the SS wire to the fibular head, and then the lateral tibial plate fixation was done. These are the immediate X-rays on table, and the screw, the 4 mm cancellous screw was appearing as though it will impinge the femoral condyle. So we checked complete flexion and extension on table. It was not impinging, and there was a mild medial lateral laxity at that time we noticed. And this is the immediate post-op X-ray where we can see that there is a medial opening. So since medial laxity is seen, we were given a G2 brace support and then started first 3 weeks we didn't mobilize the knee joint, and after 3 weeks we started gradual mobilization of the knee joint, and 6 weeks later we started patient to walk with partial weight bearing, and 3 months later patient started weight bearing completely. And this is the 6 months follow where the fracture is uniting well and there is no instability signs. These are the follow-up images where she has got complete extension and flexion movements, and she is able to walk now independently without any support. So there is no pain on walking, no instability signs while walking. So till 6 months we have given a brace, and then we took off the brace recently at the last follow-up, and then we asked her to walk independently. So here we had a discussion about whether to look at the soft tissue injuries also, whether we need to consider and repair them. So there are some literature reports where some of them, mainly they concluded that the further research is still required. There is no clear-cut consensus. And there are some reports where they mention that it may, even if you don't repair them, it may not alter the surgical treatment or alter the patient outcome when it comes for mid-term or long-term outcomes, even if you don't repair the soft tissue injuries. Thank you.